Jimin leaves BTS. Jungkook breaks down in his arms. Is the heart of BTS fading? Fans spot alarming shift Seoul 2025 in a stunning turn of events that has left the global army reeling. Whispers of Park Jimin's quiet exit from the heart of BTS have erupted into a full-blown emotional storm. Has Jimin, once the embodiment of BTS's soul, truly stepped away from the center? And what exactly happened behind closed doors that left Jungkook sobbing uncontrollably in his arms? The silence has finally broken, and with it, the illusion of unity may be fracturing. Park Jimin was once the radiant axis around which BTS orbited, a delicate yet powerful force, bridging raw vulnerability with explosive charisma. His ethereal solo stages, from the haunting Lie to the sensual Filter, became landmarks in K-pop performance history. Jimin wasn't just another member. He was often the first face the camera sought, the magnet for both global attention and emotional depth. But as BTS members embarked on solo ventures, a subtle but undeniable shift began to take form. Jungkook conquered global charts with his debut album Golden, becoming a brand darling and industry phenomenon. RM and Suga crafted critically acclaimed solo works, flexing intellectual and artistic prowess. Even Jean, amidst military service, maintained visibility through pre-recorded content. But Jimin, despite his own successful solo debut with Face, appeared to step back. Not absent, just quieter, less present, less seen. The change wasn't abrupt. It emerged like a whisper, a dimming light rather than a blackout. During group appearances in 2022 and 2023, fans noticed Jimin speaking less, retreating behind his composed smiles, letting others carry the comedic energy. Was it maturity? Burnout? Many hoped it was temporary, but the cracks became impossible to ignore. Jimin's sophomore album Muse faced multiple delays. There was no world tour announcement, no momentum follow-up after the initial impact of Face. And yet, whenever he did appear, the same elegance remained. But something had shifted in tone. The world's emotional compass had seemingly stepped back from the forefront, raising a harrowing question. Was Jimin no longer the center of BTS? And then came the emotional eruption that no one expected. Jungkook, the ever-composed Golden Magne, was seen visibly shaken, crying, broken, in Jimin's arms, reportedly during a closed-door rehearsal. According to multiple internal leaks, the moment unfolded not in spectacle, but in seclusion, as if the two artists were caught in a private reckoning, not just with each other, but with the crushing reality of change. The last remaining illusion of unshakable unity between the members now stood suspended in grief, in catharsis, in irreversible transformation. This single moment was all fans needed to spiral into speculation, and more crucially, into mourning. For years, Jimin had been called the soul of BTS. His presence wasn't loud, it resonated. He embodied the emotional heartbeat of the group, graceful in movement, piercing in tone, unwavering in authenticity. His solos didn't just entertain, they confessed. And yet, amid the industry's mechanical march toward marketability, Jimin now seems to be navigating a quieter rebellion, a war not against his group, but for his identity. Behind the scenes, insiders whisper of creative clashes. Jimin reportedly sought an intimate concert format, something vulnerable, stripped back, a raw on-stage journal. hybe, on the other hand, allegedly pushed for grandeur, viral spectacle, and global saturation. What they offered him was mass appeal. What he sought was personal truth. This artistic dissonance may explain the mounting delays, the sporadic engagement, and the widening gap between Jimin's intent and the machinery surrounding him. The system that once elevated him may now be the very weight pressing down. Meanwhile, fan concern has reached a fever pitch. Forums and timelines brim with questions. Why is Jimin being sidelined? Why is his voice missing in BTS's evolving chapter? Has he chosen to disappear? Or was that choice made for him? Each silence, each postponed release, each cryptic post feels heavier than the last. A recent viral tweet encapsulated the growing unease. I don't need Jimin to be the center. I just need to know he still wants to be there and that someone lets him. The emotional devastation among fans isn't merely about lost visibility. It's about the symbolic loss of a presence that once anchored BTS's emotional and artistic core. And while Jimin may still be physically part of the group, something in the energy, in the balance, has shifted fundamentally. Adding fuel to this internal crisis is a moment that sent shockwaves through the fandom. On Weverse, Jungkook posted what fans now believe to be a thinly veiled plea. If you hurt him, you hurt me. No names mentioned, no context provided, but the implication was thunderous. It didn't take long before ARMY connected the dots. The message wasn't just protective, it was a public stand, and possibly a warning. Could this be the beginning of a deeper fracture? Or could it be the start of something revolutionary? Speculation has surged around a potential joint project between Jimin and Jungkook, a defiant, unfiltered collaboration that bypasses commercial formula. If the rumors are true, the two youngest members of BTS may be preparing to reshape not only their own trajectories, but the very structure of idol autonomy in the post-group, post-military era. Still, even now, Jimin's silence speaks louder than any press release. His recent social media activity, a black and white photo of a fogged-up dance studio mirror, captioned simply "almost time," felt less like a teaser and more like a statement. Something is coming, but what it is remains locked behind the veil of his artistry. Industry insiders suggest mounting internal disagreements between Jimin and hybe. His insistence on minimalism and emotional storytelling reportedly clashes with the label's desire for larger-than-life appeal. This tension, they argue, could be why Jimin, who once commanded global headlines, now seems stalled in a limbo of delayed projects and stifled vision. And yet, for many fans, this moment isn't about commercial strategy. It's about heartbreak. Not just theirs, but his. That he has become a mirror. In him, fans see the quiet battles of those who feel too deeply in a world that demands too much. His silence is a protest. His stillness a signal. Jimin isn't fading. He is choosing. He is fighting. And perhaps he is healing. Now, the question that lingers is no longer what happened to Jimin, but what will he do next? Will he stay within BTS under a reshaped identity? Will he separate entirely to protect his artistic autonomy? Or will he return to the center? Not because the system put him there, but because he claimed it back. No matter the path, one truth remains certain. Jimin has never stopped being the emotional core of this global phenomenon. Even in absence, he is felt. Even in silence, he is heard. If a Jimin-Jungkook rebellion is truly brewing, a raw, unapologetic collision of emotion and intent, it may mark a seismic shift in K-pop history. Not just artistically, but existentially. A redefinition of what it means to stand at the center, not for visibility, but for meaning. The cold machinery of pop culture, Park Jimin has always burned quietly. Now, his slow return may be more than a comeback. It may be a reckoning. He doesn't need to chase the spotlight. He is the spotlight. Stay tuned. The silence is about to explode. And when it does, it won't just be another release. It will be a moment, a rupture, a redefinition. And Park Jimin will not just return, but he will arrive. Jimin's position in BTS, departure or deliberate illusion, public breakdown, internal tensions, and the demand for truth amid unverified claims. The emotional implosion of Jungkook in Jimin's arms, circulated through unverified fan reports, was enough to trigger global waves of speculation. But the question we must now confront is more unsettling than it is exciting. Is this real? Are we, as global consumers of media, bearing witness to the unraveling of BTS's emotional epicenter? Or are we unknowingly participants in a spectacle orchestrated for digital virality? It is essential, at this stage, to demand clarity, to press harder, to reflect, Because the narrative unfolding around Park Jimin's supposed withdrawal from the central identity of BTS, while emotionally evocative and universally engaging, remains critically underverified. The media fragments driving this discourse have not been formally substantiated by any direct source. Rather, they originate predominantly from platforms built on amplification, speculation, and at times, outright fabrication, namely TikTok, YouTube edits, Twitter threads, and anonymous commentary channels. Are we consuming evidence, or merely echoes of collective projections? Consider the central emotional flashpoint: Jungkook's alleged breakdown. No official footage exists. No reputable photography agencies documented the moment. The sole account arises from circulating anecdotes, many of which originated as fan fiction-adjacent narratives before being reframed as eyewitness claims. How much of this is recollection? How much is imagination dressed in emotional realism? Jimin, long revered as the artistic and emotional heart of BTS, is no stranger to scrutiny. But is the recent surge in concern about his absence a reflection of an actual shift, or merely the product of algorithm-fed hysteria? This distinction is no longer trivial. It is foundational. We must ask, who benefits from the story? Is it Jimin himself, battling internal conflicts and seeking quiet liberation from corporate limitations? Is it the industry, feeding on the sensationalism of vulnerability to sustain engagement? Or is it the collective fandom, emotionally invested to a point where perception and desire blur the boundary between reality and narrative fabrication? There is a profound danger in surrendering too quickly to any one conclusion. Social media posts by Jimin, ambiguous, poetic, stripped of explicit context, have been dissected by fans with the precision of forensic analysts. A single photo of a fogged mirror, a cryptic caption, a glimpse of a studio monitor, each interpreted as irrefutable confirmation of a looming revelation. But is it? Or are we watching shadows dance on the wall of a cave, mistaking them for truth? Similarly, Jungkook's Weverse post, "If you hurt him, you hurt me," though emotionally powerful, is easily manipulated through selective reading. It names no one. It references no event. And yet, it has been widely circulated as an explicit statement of internal group conflict. This raises a pivotal question. Are fans participating in truth-finding, or are they complicit in constructing a fantasy born of emotional longing and algorithmic reinforcement? Media literacy, in this era of accelerated content, is no longer optional. It is survival. The articles, videos, and commentaries surrounding Jimin's alleged marginalization must be dissected with methodological skepticism. Who wrote them? What sources were cited? Were those sources verified or speculative? Have any direct statements been made by Jimin himself beyond cryptic captions and inferred gestures? The answer, disturbingly, is no. Despite the emotional weight these narratives carry, no formal confirmation of internal discord has been released. Jimin has neither declared a departure from BTS nor voiced grievances against the company, the group, or the fandom. Silence, intentional or not, has been reframed as evidence. But is it silence at all, or are we simply unwilling to accept the mundane truth that artists evolve, that visibility fluctuates, and that not every shift is a crisis? Are we too eager to impose drama where there is none? The speculative thread surrounding a joint Jimin Jungkook rebellion project, though tantalizing, is equally devoid of verified sourcing. Much of the anticipation stems from theory-based content, fan edits layered with imagined lyrics, AI-generated audio snippets, and commentary from creators who openly admit to hypothesizing. These are not press releases. They are speculative performances disguised as revelations. Why, then, are we responding as though every whispered theory is a verified truth? It is crucial to recognize that the current discourse surrounding Jimin's status is not based on confirmed statements, but rather a convergence of emotional hunger and media manipulation. It is a digital mirage, fed by rapid consumption and a craving for emotional catharsis. And in our pursuit of connection with our idols, we risk fabricating traumas they themselves have never voiced. Thus, we must now confront the core dilemma. Is this narrative unfolding around Jimin an authentic reflection of reality? Or is it a meticulously constructed echo chamber where emotion supersedes evidence? This article, like much of the discourse it references, is built on fragments of circulating media from TikTok trends, speculative tweets, interpretive YouTube commentary, and fan-driven narratives. None of these, in isolation, offer definitive truth. Taken collectively, they offer an emotionally powerful but factually unstable structure. As such, we urge every reader to proceed not with blind belief, but with intellectual rigor. Reflect critically. Are you responding to fact or to feeling? Are you engaging with verifiable information, or are you simply participating in a story that feels too emotionally satisfying to question? Does this narrative affirm what you hope to be true, or challenge what you refuse to believe? In the current media climate, stories, especially those involving beloved global figures, are currency. Emotional content spreads faster than factual reports. Sensational headlines dominate timelines. And even AI-generated content is now indistinguishable from reality for the average user. In this chaotic digital arena, emotional manipulation thrives. So the question must be sharpened. What do we actually know about Jimin's status in BTS, and what have we only been told to believe? It is not enough to ask what happened. We must also ask, who decided that it happened? Who benefits if we believe it did? Are you a consumer of truth, or a participant in a mythology? Jimin's apparent withdrawal may reflect genuine internal conflict. Or it may be a calculated marketing pivot. It may be a cry for artistic control, or simply a phase of personal quietude misinterpreted through the lens of emotional overinvestment. Until concrete evidence is presented, direct statements, verified documents, or reputable journalistic inquiry, everything remains uncertain. The burden of proof does not lie with the artist alone. It lies with the audience to question, to investigate, and most of all, to withhold judgment until clarity emerges. Skepticism is not cynicism. It is discipline. And in the world of modern celebrity, discipline is our last defense against emotional exploitation. So we ask you directly, do you truly believe that Jimin has been pushed aside by force? Or are you responding to a fantasy seeded by fan culture and sustained by algorithmic echo? Is Jungkook's emotional display a spontaneous truth, or a projected longing reimagined through speculative content? Is this crisis real, or is it the latest in a long line of narratives engineered to dominate the digital stage for days, only to vanish when the next wave of content arrives? Until these questions are answered, we must treat every headline with measured doubt. Park Jimin's silence may be intentional, his next move unknown, but your reaction, your belief, must be informed not just by feeling, but by scrutiny. In a world flooded with half-truths and emotional manipulation disguised as reporting, the most powerful thing a fan can do is demand evidence. Anything less is complicity. Reflect, reassess, re-examine. You may care deeply for Jimin, but caring also means protecting him from the distortions of a media machine that thrives on crisis. Ask yourself one last time, are you witnessing a fracture? Or are you being asked to believe in one that does not yet exist? The truth is out there, but it may not be the one you want. And that, perhaps, is the most difficult truth of all.